unveiling. That is what we're here today for. So I thank you all for joining us. We're going to see what's going to happen here. We know last season, Haas finished in Haas-like ways. They finished in Haas-like ways. To give them a little bit of credit, at least they finished a couple of spots above where they finished in 2021. 2021, they finished 10th. Last season, 2022, they finished 8th. So that's some improvement, right? But we do know over the course of Haas's existence in Formula One, they have really not delivered as I would say they intended, or maybe some expected them to be. We know Gunther's has taken quite a bit of flack as far as things that he's wanted to say in regards to Andretti coming out and coming into Formula One. He is or has been opposed to that. So big shout out to Derwin Hill. Big shout out to Mary Beanie. Big shout out to everybody in the chat. So right now we're going to try to see what's going on with this situation. And I'm going to tell you, I'm a little bit hesitant on Haas's revealing. Okay. Cause last year we had a mixture, and I want to say out of everybody last year, AlphaTauri probably was one of the teams that took a different approach to where they just dropped a video. They dropped a video. We saw like this whole montage and fashion show, and we got to see all that. And then boom, it was the car, and then it was over. I'm not mad at simple, short and sweet. I'm not mad at that. I just would like to hear a little bit of techie talk as far as maybe things that they've looked at changing, or maybe even some of the areas they thought they could improve in. Let's also not forget, Haas hasn't been the best with having driver pairings either, right? So we're 3 minutes from the unveiling, and still Haas hasn't even really said, like usually most teams will have things posted, have things getting ready to go. I've always seen teams be late. You know, it's 9, next thing you know, we're 10, 15 minutes past the hour, nothing's dropped, nothing's come out. So I'm not really expecting a lot from Haas, but I will say this: last season, they didn't do a lot to the car. They had some updates, and I say updates. We have to get into the habit or into the practice of saying updates, because nothing is an upgrade unless it yields positive results. And we saw many teams change things on their cars, and maybe it didn't make monumental progress, but it did have some incremental progress. And incremental progress in Formula One, depending where you already are in the grid, can be a lot. But I think Haas also suffered because of their power unit supplier in Ferrari. Ferrari had issues, so therefore Haas had issues. I know they would hope it would not be that way, but the power unit was unreliable, and due to some, some things out there that basically Ferrari thought they would go ahead and jack the motor up to it to get as much power as they could out of it, because it's going to be a lock till 2026, and then through that time Ferrari would have the ability to work on reliability issues. And I'm not mad at that gamble. I'm not mad if that's a gamble that Ferrari decided to take going forward to 2026, because the regulations are going to change then. So I'm not mad at that approach. But I will say that if that was part of their approach purposely, and they did expect to have these failures, then they also contributed. What's up, fam? G5 MDS, we flying. By the way, Mary Beanie is the latest and most recent VIP tier 1 member. She will get her box, but she's like not far out from getting her Wolfpack podcast shirt. So I'm going to wait and send that all to her together. But if that is the case, that Ferrari decided, we're going to jack the motor up and we'll work on reliability as we go, then inevitably they also added to their own failure in their championship campaign in 2022. It hindered Charles greatly. Charles did make some mistakes, but I don't think the drivers made more mistakes than the team itself made to hinder them. Okay. As of right now, there's no drop yet. So we're going to see, we're just 1 minute off 9 a.m. to Eastern Standard Time, according to what they said and when they're going to drop. So now Haas has to go in with a totally different driver pairing. They had the Mazepin, they had Schumacher, and that was hideous. That was a hideous situation for them. And in losing Mazepin throughout the Russia situation, and then him getting kicked off, and then his dad pulling the money from Uralkali, and then him having to kind of change the scheme of the car to the black and red versus the Russian colors, which they should have been American colors anyway, because to me, it's the most American, non-American team on the grid. So that is 9. So we're going to still be awaiting to see when this drop is going to be. I can't imagine them dropping on anything other than YouTube itself, and that is what we will be waiting for. And other than that, we'll keep an eye on some of their other social media platforms to see if they're going to drop there. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised. I would be disappointed in Haas, but I wouldn't be surprised if they drop something like just pictures. All right. And there we go. And I'm going to bring this up for you right now already as we see it. I'm going to bring this up for you so you can see what I see. And this is what we have so far. All right. This is what we got. A picture so far on Instagram of the VF-23. All right. This is what they give. This is what they brought out. They're with MoneyGram. Like I said, I was a bit hesitant to see what they were going to do. And now seeing what they have done, I'm not really shocked. I'm not shocked at this. I was expecting that they will at least come out with something a bit more better. What's up, Wolfpack fam? J-Rob, what's going on? So we're here trying to see this VF-23 for the 2023 season. They have elected, it looks like, to not drop a video or do a video on YouTube, but instead they have elected to go ahead and just drop a picture of the car and then show us that. And that is what we're looking at right here. So I'm going to bring the car up a bit more so you can see that instead of a lot of the Instagram thing. And I am disappointed in this. I am a little bit disappointed in this. Haas definitely, to me, has some things that they need to start working on if they're going to be the American team on the grid and start actually gaining the American interest of their team. And right now, Haas has not done that. And I think that's one of their fears of Andretti coming in. So there you go. There's the VF-23. And that's what we get. Okay. Now I'm going to say this, and I'm going to be real upfront, honest about it. I think it's extremely disappointing. I think it's extremely disappointing because, one, Haas decided that they were going to go ahead and be in front of Red Bull. They're going to be the first out of the gate. And I think if you decided to pick the first out of the gate date, only two things probably will go into your mind. We're not going to do much. We're going to drop a picture. Let's just get it out the way and get it done. But let's see. Paul says, hope everyone is having a great day. Peace and love, my friends. Yes, peace and love to you too, my brother. But the thing is, if you're going to be first out of the gate, why not set the precedents? Why not set the precedents? You got a new sponsor, a big new sponsor, although they had some legal issues going on that I don't know if they've rectified those issues or not with MoneyGram and their customers. And this is something that we've also seen with Haas. This has been an ongoing thing, them having issues as far as with their sponsorship and what they're going to do with their sponsorship. Now, looking at this car from here, we can't really see much difference compared to what we did see when it came to the actual VF-22. All right, we don't see a lot of difference there. And here you see I have pictures of the VF-22 when they were doing updates and how things look. So we can kind of try to see if we can get a look from that and see if there's anything really going on there. But as it sits right now, we don't really get a lot. We're not seeing a lot. And I know we went through this kind of similar with Red Bull, right? And there's still nothing on their YouTube channel. There's still no video. So I think this is pretty much it. What Haas is what Haas has delivered to us. But we won't really know what they're going to do or what things are going to be. I would have loved to have the video. I would have loved to have some explanation on maybe things that they feel they really could have improved on. Maybe why they felt like at first, I know we understand, and they did initially tell us like, hey, we're not doing a lot of updates initially because we need to understand the car, right? 5, I stopped working for the Catch Wolfpack fam. Later, back to work. Hey, bro, I can't blame you. Back to work because they definitely let us down. But like I was saying, it would have been good to hear some of these things from Haas. All right, it would have been good. Gunther coming out. It would have been good for them to talk about the driver pairing. It would have been good to hear from Nico. I mean, we saw like social media shots of Nico walking like he's the Terminator down the damn main straight, and there's nothing. So I don't know. Maybe they might even come out because I think Alfa Romeo did it last time they came out, had both drivers, talked to them. By the way, they got Nico and they got K-Mag, and that's their driver pairing. Although I think that's the safest driver pairing that they probably have had since Mazepin and Schumacher, since K-Mag and Schumacher, and since Grosjean. I think this might be the safest driver pairing, but definitely is not anything that's going to put them over the hump as far as to be more competitive. If anything's going to allow them to be more competitive, it definitely has to be in the VF-23. And so since we're not hearing a lot about what's going to be done with the VF-23, then we don't really know what to expect from the VF-23. Still nothing, all right? So we got to look at 8th in 2022, 10th in 2021. You know, that's an update. That's progress. I'm not going to even shade that. That's progress. They got their first pole position ever last season with K-Mag. And although by funny standards, it still's a pole position and he still got it. So yeah, I think the car's scheme looks good. The red and the black and the white. A little bit more black, so I think that's good. I think because they have a better direction coming right out of the gate with who they're with. I don't think MoneyGram will probably drop off mid-season, although like I said, they had some legal issues. I don't think those issues are going to cause them to drop off mid-season, but it could be the Haas curse, the Haas sponsorship curse. It could be that. Last season they had about 6 or 7 DNFs. Schumacher definitely raked up some cars. I don't think they counted one of those in the seasons because it happened in testing, I believe, but they definitely don't have that situation. Schumacher's now with Mercedes, so we'll see what he does from there. Young driver. Of course, the namesake, we'll hope he improves. Nico has driven for like Force India, Renault, Williams, Sauber, Aston Martin, and Racing Point. Like, Nico's driven for a boatload of teams. Like, he's that guy, that journeyman. You call him, fill in, that's Nico. So we'll see what happens. I was really hoping that Haas was going to come out and open us up in 2023 with a car unveiling that was like, that was the shit. That was cool. Like, everybody's pumped to get back into the season. Everybody's pumped about the season starting. Everybody's pumped about seeing the new cars. Everybody's pumped about what kind of changes. What is Mercedes going to do? What's Red Bull going to do? Everybody's also pumped because of last season with the cost cap. We're kind of waiting to see what's going to happen with the next cost cap situation, right? We want to see if Red Bull breached again or what other new teams may have breached. So that's something else. So I think that opening up like this was definitely like crazy. Now, I'm going to say this. Ferrari has decided, the Red Scarlet team, the Formula One love child, has decided that they will have their unveiling on Valentine's Day. If you have your unveiling on Valentine's Day, that shit better be hot. It better be good. Like, your unveiling better be good on Valentine's Day, because it's going to be, I believe, early but ton in the morning, Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be before 5 a.m. my time. If I'm up well, I'm going to be up kind of anyway because I get up early. But anyway, that early on Valentine's Day, that reveal better be shit hot. I am also looking to see what the Ferrari is going to look like, what direction they're going to go into. I think they had a very competitive car. I think they had I don't think they had a reliable power unit because they didn't, but hopefully if they fix all that, I think the Ferrari in the right hands with the right strategy, the right team around it, the right drivers inside, I think the Ferrari is a heavy contender for 2023. So we'll have to see what happened there. So we're just going to go ahead. Thanks, Haas. You didn't do much for us. You screwed us. This is the VF-23, as you all see. The color scheme, I like the color scheme. I'm glad they put it on hard tires to kind of bring out that contrast instead of putting it on softs. It kind of would have soaked in, but that contrast with the hard white tires is nice. Congratulations on your new sponsor, MoneyGram. Hopefully they stick with you through an entire season and you don't have a bunch of debacles or scandals that may happen and come out about MoneyGram and the lawsuits or whatever else may take the place. Also, MoneyGram was not in like top 5 of money transferring systems that I looked into. So kind of Haas like, kind of back seat, and especially international. But we'll see what happens. Big shout out to you all for like checking in and tuning in for the reveal. I'm going to try to be here live for every reveal if I can. And that's what I'm going to do. And we'll see what happens next. I think next on the list, we got Red Bull is going to be coming up next. So we do know, even if you don't like Red Bull, which I don't hate the RB18. It's a fast car. Max Verstappen's a good driver. Red Bull has proven to be that team that will do whatever, although I cannot excuse 2021, and I also do not excuse the cost cap situation. Red Bull elected to not participate in the dry run so that they would know how to run their cost situation, and they said no, and then they failed, and they breached, and then I don't think the penalty was stiff enough, but Red Bull's reveals are shit hot. I'm just telling you, Red Bull as an organization, when they do videos and short clips and all of these promotions, they're good at what they do when it comes to that. So I do not expect anything less than for us to have a driving exhibition of the new car or the RB18 going through the streets of somewhere. I don't doubt Red Bull will have a shit hot unveiling. I'm just being honest and keeping it real. Like, they're one of the teams that I look forward to see what that's going to look like. All right. So if you all had to rate this unveiling, what would you give it? All right. Rate the first reveal. All right. I'm about to give you some scores. You got 1 to 3, 4 to 6. And I'm not going to even list a fucking 10 up there. You let me know, how do you rate that? How do you rate this unveiling? A 1 to 3, 4 to 6, 7 to 8. There's no way it's a 9 or 10. It's really not even a 7 to 8. I'm just really keeping it real nice and cordial, putting 7 to 8 up there to begin with. To me, it's a 1. It's a 1, no doubt. It's a 1, no doubt. It's a 1, no doubt. I think, hey, Haas got it in and got it over with. Congratulations to him. But like I said, also in the reveal situation last season, Haas definitely did not do a lot of upgrades or updates. They didn't do a lot of updates. And the reason for them not doing a lot of updates was because they said they needed to really understand the car. All right. They wanted to really understand what was going on, what was up with the package of the car before they went making a bunch of changes. And that does make a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense to go ahead and understand your package before you start just making a bunch of changes. If you make too many changes and you can't barely keep track of the progress or where it's going, you just kind of find yourself in a big ball of knotted up yarn, and it's hard to get out of that. Or polycarbon fishing line, it's hard to get out of that. Matter of fact, braided fishing line, if you've ever knotted a braided fishing line, it's a hell to get unknotted. Okay, so I did agree with what they said about that. I agree with how they decided they want to go about that. I just did not agree with I didn't agree with a lot of other things Haas had going on. I definitely don't agree with the way Gunther spoke about Andretti getting into Formula One, but that's his prerogative and that's his opinion. So as it sits, we are done. I'm going to give you one last shot so you can see that VF-23, because I know you just think it's so damn beautiful. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, that is your VF-23 for 2023 going into Haas. That is a tongue twister. Try it. Say it 5 times fast and you probably get a prize. Other than that, we're going to get up out of here and make it happen. So, yeah, Haas, the most un-American team on the grid, has come out flat. We could have even got more angles of the car. I mean, what the, I'm really disappointed in this shit. I'm really disappointed. I'm not lying to you. I'm really disappointed. This is not even a multi-slide. This is not even a multi-picture post. Like, they could at least did like 5. Instagram allows you to do like 4 to 5 pictures in a carousel. They could have at least given us a carousel of photos, a quarter shot, a front shot, a side shot, a back shot, a cockpit shot. They could have given us more than this. I'm really disappointed. I can't even get off without saying that. All right, we'll pack out. Peace and love. I'll see y'all on the next review.